Hello, everybody, and welcome to my TubeTubey. Okay, I didn't really think this through, so let me just do that. And we're on. So today's topic is a little bit more personal. Okay, this is a personal channel at the end of the day. And I've promised myself that I'm going to be as raw and as authentic as possibly can because this channel was basically opened for me to document my life's journey. So obviously I have to be as honest as possible. So today I'm shooting a topic that is close to my heart, and that is COVID weddings. So I recently came upon a post whereby an influencer was just sharing on how COVID, people keep on saying, oh, I wish I was a COVID bride, less expenses. And she was like, no, 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 guys, I would rather pay all that money and not have a COVID wedding at all, because there's so much stress that comes from a COVID wedding. I think people downplay the stress that goes on or that went on, because things are much easier now. I mean, I don't even think there are any restrictions. Okay, they say that gatherings should be if you have 100 or more people, make sure they're vaccinated, but I don't think that is happening. All I know is that people are sanitizing, and that's all. No social distance, nothing whatsoever. Anyway, so my journey began when I got engaged in 2019. And okay, we had sort of always been having conversations, obviously, around marriage. When you're a Christian couple, that's all that I think your relationship is centered about. Ultimately, reaching that goal, and that's marriage, right? So 2019, actually, late 2018, my hubby was like, you know what, I think it's time, I want to do this, let's do this. I actually thought that he was joking because he had said it 2017 again. But then this time he was like, no, sorry guys, I'm going to tell my uncles this time. He went home and then he was like, I told my uncles. That was December of 2018, and the whole stress, I had to like tell my family, which is so awkward for me, because I wouldn't say that we're not close, but we're not like that kind of crew, if you get what I mean. So I told my sisters first. This was December of 2018. And then I told my bestie immediately after I told my sisters. And my sister told my mom. And my mom was like, okay, let's wait for the people. OMG, dad, if you see this, lol, who am I kidding? God, dad. Anyway. So, yeah, so she told the parents, I'm just like taking you backtracking to sort of like, so that you guys can really see my journey, that you can really appreciate that I really didn't plan to have a COVID wedding. Unlike people think that we took advantage of the situation, less costs, and we decided, let's get married. What an opportune time. No, guys, it didn't happen like that, okay? So, yeah, once everybody was on board, I like told my friends, only my close friends, okay? And then the call to the parents happened, I think around April. Yes, April. His parents called my parents, and the ball was sort of now in motion. And then I think he sort of wanted to seal the deal. Okay, he proposed to me August 23rd of 2019. It was a whole big thing, a whole big surprise. My bestie was in it, and ooh, chef. Oh, baby. Okay, here's the thing. Like my husband, I'm somebody who loves like small little gestures here and there. Like, you passed by the shops and you brought me a PS chocolate. I watch too many movies, man. But my husband rarely does that. Okay. He likes grand gestures. That's just how he speaks giving, if I can say that, like grand gestures. Okay. So the reason why this gets me excited is it's one of those grand gestures that he did for me, and he really went all out. He pulled out all the stops. Like it was a whole big surprise. Okay, honey. So I got engaged. I should have brought in my engagement ring and put it on this other hand. Then, oh yeah, and we had started buying the rings in April of 2019. I mean the wedding rings. Okay. So fast forward, then we set the date for at first when he talked to his parents in December of 2018, he proposed the date for November, right? 2019. But then when I spoke to my parents, it was like, November is too soon. I remember my dad. He was like, November is too soon, child, my father. And then, so the date then was moved to a whole entire April of 2020. Okay. I was I was heartbroken. I was angry. I was sad. I was like, they're sabotaging my wedding day. Okay. So my husband, he was a bit disappointed, but he was like, I'm happy because he thought that my dad was going to say no. Because I told him how strict he is. So what happened was then after they called to decide on April, they called back to my in-laws. Then the in-laws suggested that we have the mahadi, and that's our traditional ceremony. Child, woo woo. Our traditional ceremony in October of 2019. So, like, I had a month to plan. Okay, it was like in August, so I just had September to plan for my traditional wedding, and I didn't plan on such a big event because I knew that I was going to have a big event, which was the wedding. So, sort of all my money and all my resources and all my energy was focused in on April 25th of 2020. So, now comes this new date, October. Okay, OMG. The drama with the dresses. My friends always say that I show a whole nother personality when I'm shooting, especially TikTok. I don't know, it's because I'm comfortable. My husband and probably my niece are the ones who get to see this crazy personality, but this is me. Yeah, I must have had like 4 dresses. I didn't like how they all turned out. I cried at the tailors. Whew, child. It was so emotional. To this day, I still can't take myself to this particular tailor. He's not a designer. We had such a good relationship prior to that, but then he made me this ugly, ugly, ugly ass dress, and I was like, dude, are you kidding me? And he kept on saying, no, it's okay, you look beautiful. And I was like, dude, no, like, no. Anyway, so Mahadi came, and it was a small, really small session. I think of 150 parents, uncles, gifting, and the whole shebang. And then now we take it to, okay, I wanted to sort of talk about the stress. And when you're planning a wedding, there's so much stress, so much anxiety that goes into the whole event, right? I was already going through so much. I remember at one point I cried in this other man's office, literally broke down, and he was shocked. He was wondering what's going on, but he thought it was something he said. I just couldn't outright tell him that I'm just under so much stress because of the wedding. My husband says he used to have sleepless nights. I think I was on bridezilla mode at that time. My expectations were so high. I wanted so much from this event, okay? I mean, of course, I had been planning for this since I was a little girl, okay? Then the Mahadi came and it passed. We had such a good time. Our photographers came, I thought they took beautiful pictures, and yeah. So now it's March of 2020. I'm on a combi. This happened twice. I was on a combi and I was listening to the news, and then they kept on talking about coronavirus. Up until this point, I had tried to order a dress in China. My friend was actually buying the dress for me, and she kept on saying that, oh yeah, they went on Chinese holiday. So I wasn't really clear on, is it Chinese holiday? Is there like a virus in China? What's going on? How does this virus affect me? Honestly speaking, I was really clueless at the time. Okay, child. Until now, this was starting to be a reality. I remember passing in Rail Park. My friend Ludo and I were doing some um, shopping for wedding gowns. And I saw someone in Rail Park wearing a mask. This was even before masks were a thing in Botswana. And I remember thinking, is this serious? Like, what's going on? And then I started reading more and more about it, and I started getting more informed and seeing that this is really serious, right? And then it was now more on the news, on the radio. So I was in a combi, like I'm saying, two different times, and they were talking about possible lockdowns. At the time, I wasn't sure if other countries were in a lockdown. And then I went out with my cousin sometime, and she told me that there are possible lockdowns. She came with like a whole box of surgical masks. Can you imagine? And I was like, is this serious? Is this for real? And then the news came in that we're going on a lockdown. At the time, I was shocked. I was trembling. I was terrified. And, it was just, I think, 3 weeks before my bridal shower was set to happen. And oh my goodness, people were saying so many different things. People were like, let's cancel the bridal shower, let's postpone, let's this. And it was honestly so overwhelming. Overwhelming, okay? My close friends were trying to stay calm, but I think I was also seeing what's happening. And as people kept on calling and asking me what I'm going to do, I mean, this thing is happening as my event is approaching. I obviously don't know what I'm going to do. I obviously don't know the regulations. At that time, we hadn't yet raised the banners, and that's Hopega. Like you go, and I don't know if you call it sign, and you're agreeing that you're going to get married at a certain time. So they have to put your names on posters across the country in places where you've lived in. I assume that that's done so that in case you are married, or right, if anybody knows anything, they can come forward. So people who know anything are people in places that you've lived in, right? Okay, I need to calm down because this is really an emotional topic. for me. I think you can see sort of my mood was up there, and then it came as I'm reliving this time, okay? And then I suggested to my family that I think that we should go and raise the banners so that we can at least get married before lockdown or something, right? We went to raise the banners. I think it was around the 22nd of March. I'm not sure. I'll confirm with my calendar. I know it was like a week before lockdown, okay? And then that was a Tuesday when we went. By Thursday, bam, lockdown. Just like that. I think because I hadn't been educating myself, I wasn't really clear on what was happening. Okay, game phase. That was the 27th of March. Oh, I was so scared. That meant coming to terms with the fact that I had to now cancel my bridal shower, which I did. Oh yeah, prior to that, event numbers and all that were reduced, I think, to 50. Yeah, you could only meet with the 50 people. So there was that whole debate, but now we're mid in lockdown. Okay. Lockdown it wasn't as overwhelming now that I think about it that it should have been. I know that people were depressed during lockdown. I know that a lot of things went down. When we went into lockdown, I think we were not in a good space as a family because of COVID and having so many arguments. So it was a bit awkward and tense in that sense, but nonetheless, I was okay, sober minded. All that anxiety and frustration that I had leading towards lockdown had now subsided. I was more calm. I started my workout regimen and it was going really well. My sister started learning how to bake, and yeah, I lost a lot of weight, maybe mainly because of the stress, I don't know. But wow, man, I'm on a mission to lose weight right now, and I'm always like, I need to go back to that workout discipline, right? I'm reading so that I don't forget my notes and where I was. Okay. So during lockdown, there was so much coming in from people. I think this is why people who give advice normally say be careful of who you let into your personal space, because some people would literally send me the government gazette and be like, Chomi, weddings have been cancelled until further notice. And what are you going to do? I appreciated people who were like, Chomi, calm down, let's pray about it. Chomi, um, this is what's going on, but you will get married at the end of the day. And the overwhelming support. I remember my husband was like, people are calling you, people are supporting you, and he had like two or three people. And I mean, apart from those people who were just being negative and nagging me all the time, right? So on Monday, I received some bad news concerning my health, and I was shattered. On just leading towards April, I received some bad news. I'm talking about 2022, and I was in a state of despair. I was so sad. I was like, April brings me no joy, no light, nothing good comes from April. But I decided to change my perspective and be like, this is why I'm shooting this video, to be like, no, 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 no. April is actually a good month. God kept me in a time where it was supposed to be chaos and turmoil. He kept me calm. I have chronic anxiety, but during that time, it was the most calm time of my life. And then lockdown was done, and whoa, after lockdown came in, now we want to go through with the wedding. And the regulations kept on changing time after time. So there was a period whereby they had opened up for weddings, but only, excuse me, 4 people were allowed to get married during that time. Oh no, not during that time. Only 4 people were allowed into the ceremony. No ceremonies at all were allowed, okay? So we kept on calling the DC's office in my home village, where we were now supposed to go and take down the banners, and they kept on saying they don't know anything, they don't know when it's going to open. It was so frustrating because on the television we're hearing that you can go ahead and get married, but when you call the offices, it's like we don't know anything. And then I remember going to the magistrate, the DC's office here in the city, and I remember seeing this other couple. They were just getting married. God, they were looking so beautiful. And it just made me so anxious because I was wondering when that is going to happen for me, right? But then the following week, they were like, no, you can now start getting married. And this was in early of June. So we set the date for that very Friday. But then my parents were like, it's so short notice. And I'm like, how, guys? I've been through the most. Can I just get married? And unfortunately, we couldn't. We had to wait for my parents. So we got married June 12th. The happiest day. One of the happiest days of my life. Wow. Oh, that was beautiful. It was a beautiful intimate ceremony. We went to the DC's office in the morning. We were late, but the DC was even more late. Since our wedding was to be officiated in church, we just raised down, had the king, took down the banners, and I think we also do the community of property, the in community of property thing, and then okay, my phone ran out of storage before I could finish my story, but yeah, basically that was it. We got married in June. We've been living happily ever after. It's really been beautiful, but overall, the take home is that COVID weddings are not as easy as people put them out to be. Worse enough for us, we never got our photos. We never got our photos from the photographer. Like, we did a whole photo shoot and we never got those photos because he says he lost them or whatever. Story for another day. I'll do another video about heartbreaking things that we had to endure while planning for our wedding or during our wedding. Thanks for tuning into my story. I hope you have a different perspective about COVID weddings from now on. Some of us were not taking advantage of the situation. Actually, we had planned our weddings like years before, and we had paid deposits. And we lost out on some of those deposits, and we just lost out on a lot. We just because we had already invested in this. Would I change it? No, I'm glad that I went the other way. I'm glad that I had a COVID wedding. I'm glad. I love you. Please stay tuned for more. Thank you so much. This was both emotionally draining and exciting. Enjoy. I hope you enjoyed. Do subscribe, like, comment, share. I love you. It's your girl, Lily M.